Hi Aries, I just want to thank you one more time. You are definite winner of who had the most views, subscribes, likes, and shares. And I just cannot thank you enough for helping me grow this channel. And one way of being able to thank you is to release your actually Taroscope, weekly Taroscope first. And also not only that you're not going to get 5 card readings, you're going to get 10 card readings, plus clarifications, plus love cards, plus special guidance, plus runes. And let's have this every week and see which sign wins. And you guys were killers. Just you can go and see where the others kind of like landed. So it is 10:57 at night on the 13th. I'm hoping to finish it before midnight and to upload so you can actually have it on February 14th, because weeklies are usually released late on Wednesday. So let's go. So basically what I'm seeing in your reading is kind of interesting mix of things that will be happening between the February 15th and February 21st. So in the base cards, and I pull all this stuff before so I don't have to waste time like I'm in 3 minutes shuffling. One of the base cards, as you can see, is Ten of Sea. I mean, it's probably the best card, or one of the best cards to get in a spread. So this week is going to be pretty much enjoying the family, enjoying what the best in life can offer. The company of the others, almost like everything. Just be careful, don't get too spoiled, because after you're on the top you have to go down. So just like, don't lull yourself too much into love and happiness, because you know what, we wouldn't know that love exists without having bad things. And that was the second card here that was showing not to be a bully. And I think my brother being Aries, being younger brother, so yeah, I was stronger, luckily. Aries has tendency to be kind of fiery, I guess, to say it, and obviously your fire was helping this channel. So this is saying, basically, if you see somebody who's different, don't chase him away, give him a chance. He can find some other home and everything else, but look at how sad this little kitty is. So just be really careful not to kind of like have your wrath this week on somebody who is a little bit different from you, or somebody who just doesn't think like you. I would just like really try to tone down any kind of overly assertive energy, because let's not call it aggressive. And so this is a really good lesson in life anyway, that we have to kind of listen to the other people before we make judgment. And it's kind of like really interesting that you have a combo in a kind of base of the week. It looks like that you're really going through the big growth, and you're going from the highest high to basically healing the really rough part of yourselves. So what is basically in the basically bottom for this week, a flavor of this week over here would be Earth Kitten. So we are here talking about exploration, trying to see again, look at that, different, looking for different. Like we are still in Aquarius until Sunday, and Aquarius rules different. So this is your opportunity for a few more days to really test it. Going and trying different foods, like talking to people who are so different than you, like who you would never imagine sitting with, or enjoying time with. It's going to be like an extremely big learning experience, and you might actually find lots of things in common, and you might find that you might actually heal yourself from this kind of like maybe overwhelming attitudes. And basically this is confirmed with another Earth, Ten of Earth. So now you have Ten of Sea and Ten of Earth. Basically 2 crown cards of ultimate happiness. This week, literally, everybody will kill to be you. In spite of these little things, nobody's going to even notice if you have a hissy fit, if you're like bad, because literally you're going to really enjoy yourself. But please just understand that you still have to be aware for your own growth, that you need to be a good person after all. And even though this week is literally you can walk on water, just think of the little kind of like sensitive souls that cannot take your directness. So with these two cards together, it's basically showing a highly earthy energy, and you're fire Aries. You can scourge the earth. So just be very careful, because this is not moving with the speed of light. This is moving a little bit slower, but that's why it's like much longer lasting. So what are you basically planning this week, and this is going to be the flavor of the week, is like establishing a new path, communicating new ideas, and these new ideas will be connected to kind of domestic bliss, to kind of like accomplishments, and like to kind of finding your place in this whole system. The base of this was basically something that kind of was nightmarish. You kind of like had some issues, either financial issues, or you kind of like felt that you were square peg in the round hole, and you kind of like realized there was a need for kind of like reviewing in your fears, whether financial or how the family structure functions, or how to basically deal with people. It could be layers of things. And this base issue, this kind of like Nine of Sky, which kind of is something that's shadow in us that we know. It's not like the nicest thing, and we are doing everything we can to suppress it, right, from the world. But in any case, this is what basically happened, that we have those fears. So with this, you can literally try to put this together with these two things, that these fears sometimes do happen because when we are conscious, we do things just like a knee-jerk moment, and then we regret it later, and they come back to haunt you because you're a good person, and you kind of know that maybe it was a reaction out of the old, basically consciousness, out of the old ideas. And from the past, either from your past life or from your past experiences, or from just the past weeks, like what did you have last week? Oh yeah, you were the guys don't commit, and what you did, you commit to my channel like big time. So guys, don't commit this week too. I really, really want you to continue subscribing, liking, and sharing. But let's go back to the reading. So this is saying that you're a thorn between the two worlds. One is like nice and cozy, another one is like this unknown, but it's like unknown with all the smells and all these kind of interesting things that are so appealing. So this was in the past, that this kind of was lacking decision in what to do and how to do it, or even why to do it. And this is followed up with two major arcanas, which are really, really important, because if you look at the colors, you can see the purple, and then the purple kind of continues on the top. And also this is number 2 and number 3. So if any of you is like familiar with the story of tarot, it is basically Fool's journey, and then Fool kind of like embarks on a journey, weight free, so basically has no any kind of like prejudice or anything, a very light kind of carriage, and he's meeting different people. So he meets magician who has a great potential, and after magician he meets the priestess, and the priestess is basically gifting him the gift of wisdom. So she kind of looks up to the stars, she kind of like accumulates this energy from this amethyst, and she kind of absorbs it inside. So if this priestess is like limitless, even though the magician has this infinite sign, she also has this infinity within herself, because if she dies, another priestess comes back to her spot, and the kind of like this whole cycle continues. So basically, sort of like the lesson that you need to learn is like, I guess, is this ultimate instinct without having a knee-jerk reaction. So having this dignity, having this ability to go within yourself when the problem occurs instead of going outside of yourself, is basically the lesson for this week. And what basically would happen if there are absolutely no changes, if there is like absolutely no turbulence, you would again feel very nurtured, which we actually have learned here, So come on guys, can this get any better? I think it's literally you're blessed. Let me show you how blessed you are. Just I'll give you a little short movie clip. Yep, pretty much that would be cruising. That is you this week. Literally you. Just imagine, close your eyes for a second, just imagine like you are going to feel the breeze coming through your hair. Everything is coming your way. You look amazing. You smell amazing. Everybody's coming to you. It's just like, honestly, your spread makes me sick. Really. Like, I mean, why don't the rest of us don't get it? So I'm sure my brother would love it, being an Aries, but, frankly, he doesn't, lack any confidence to start with, so I just imagine this is going to turn him into a complete monster. So, now we have seen what would happen if there are no changes, so let's see what could change and what you can impact over here. So now in self, you see, you have everything on the outside happening so well, but on the inside, you have this inner world that kind of has these fears, has this kind of aggressive nature. And this is confirming here that you somehow, even in some situations, you feel cheated. You feel that somebody's taking advantage of you. Look at this. The little mouse is being basically snatched while you're just taking a little breather to look at the blackbirds. So it looks like, oh my gosh, a man cannot even breathe over here without being taken advantage of. So that's the negative attitude that basically the lesson of this week, the High Priestess, is saying you have to shed. So if you have been feeling this way lately, or you had this kind of experiences, right, and you feel that your patient is not being rewarded, again we have sort of a kitty, which obviously is spending time patiently waiting for the little mouse. So now being in in a reverse position, this waiting can be a really, really, really long. And now, these little mushrooms almost look like little eyes, that you're getting doubts. Well, should you really wait? Or people are laughing at you, all kinds of self-talk is going through your head. And we are going to see if you should and shouldn't when we come and see what runes are clarifying. And then, this card is basically what is in between you and sort of having a great week, having all these benefits. And you have a possible new life, new emotional start in your life. That emotional start could be, of course, a relationship, could be a next level of relationship, because Ace are gateways. I told you previously, I consider Aces almost major arcana because they're the first one after the major arcana, and you have 2, 3, and now 1. So it looks like you're embarking something new, but here you are closing something. So 10s are basically the end when you clean all these loose ends. So you just accomplish, you go to the higher level, and now you're lifting up, you're going to the next stop on this mountain. So don't get surprised if you get challenged and if you have all this stuff, because the cycle will now repeat, but you will be on the higher level. So let me give you an example. If, let's say, you're a child and you're given $10 and you learn how to manage these $10, right? Then next month you have 0, right? But next month mom is going to tell you, well, this month I'll give you $12. So now you have this bigger responsibility how to spread this $12, and so on and so on. So basically this is the same thing happening here. You can accumulate all the learned lessons and just go and see if you can go higher with this. And this is basically telling you that this can be the beginning. Yeah, sorry about that. My kitty cat just stepped on a thingy and decided to stop, so I hope you heard everything. So I said Ace of Cups is basically a beginning of something that will be very meaningful to you. It is emotional response. And just like Ten of Seas emotional response over here, and just like Empress is this nurturing response. So you have emotional triggers over here. You have a little bit passion, but passion this week is going to be subdued. The aggression can come out and the fears, so please subdue those as well. But this is like a pure emotion. It's a gateway to basically sea clan, which means they're like, kitty cats that are really emotional, those that will come to cuddle with you. So to translate this into the human world, this is going to be something that's going to be really deep inside of your heart. Let's say sometimes we make a decision to study something, and that can be made on a completely brain thought level. I want to be an engineer because I'm going to make airplanes and I'm going to earn X. Or you can make a decision, I'm going to be an environmentalist because I'll be saving whales and I'll be making squat, but I'm going to feel really, really good about it. So I'm not saying that has to be either or. You can make really good money with doing something that you really love, but this is a choice that you will really love. So whether the person or a project or something else, and we are going to see what happens with the rune, that's what's going to happen. So usually, for me, it's a good way to kind of connect first and last. So now you have the Earth Kitten, and now you have Two of Earth. So Two of Earth is, again, you have a 1 and we have a 2. So it's telling me that by the end of the week, you're starting this new cycle. This new cycle is emotional, but you're also understanding that in this emotional cycle, you also have to be, cautious of balancing things out. Your finances, your friends, the other people, good and bad, sort of like waves in the life. So this is kind of requiring patience and requiring balls in the air and requiring really stoic attitude. And it looks like you're conquering this lesson for the end of the week really, really nicely. So what I want to do right now is I want to really check the runes, and then we are going to see if we need additional clarification. So since you had 10 over here, and then you have a 10 over here, and then you have Ace of Sea over here, so and 9 is also the ending. So 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 10 cards are pretty much kind of closure. And then this also means at the same time a new beginning. I really wanted to see the other spiritual lessons. So this came with the 10 of Sea, which in my opinion, that and 10 of Earth are really strong cards. It's kind of reaching that level. So when you get a rune in upright Ophelia, this basically speaks about loyalty, respect, and the foundations of the family. Again, can you kind of now say that really tarot is absolutely not a joke? When people say, well, it's entertainment and etc., how is it possible? Is it 78 cards? And out of 78, this one was on the bottom. And out of 24, this one came out. And they are both telling the same. And this is basically also telling, that talking about engagements and marriages and births, which is only one aspect of Attila, and also it's talking about inheritance and material things, and it's also how you share things with your ancestors, and we were talking about that over here. Also, I would advise you here, it would be really good to get advice from older people, from experienced professionals, and in addition to that, you'll probably be likely, to find what you're asking. So ask yourself what this person would do in this situation. Kind of start working on that, high priestess maturity, by the time Attila's influence is over, you are going to actually move to your heritage and origin, and you're going deeply, and that's also emotional, which is connected to this emotional response and to Empress and her nurturing of everything. So okay, so this was the base, and again it's confirming this family, and it's confirming marriages and engagements, and it's confirming kind of good finances and inheritance, and however your base energy over here was kind of earth energy, and with this earth energy came this, oops, sorry, I have to sneeze. the rune of progress, like it was just okay. I don't think I can make it. I have to look at the light source, so if I sneeze, forgive me. So Equus is basically talking about, that future can grow from the past, from whatever is remain of the past. Interestingly enough, again, this is the last, this is a 10, which is kind of like completed a cycle, and then this is 11. So this is exactly what also, like Rune is saying, like, hello, can it be like actually a little bit more? So with this, the problem can be monitoring development. So you really need to set your priorities, because it's really important. Like, right, if you're hunting, you first, put the stuff. Oh, that's not a good example. I don't like killing animals. So if you want to, you bake a cake, you start with checking the ingredients, checking that if you have them, everything. So just make sure you're putting your priorities here when it comes to this earthy things that you're just trying to organize this home. This, however, is not going to escape. Like, whatever you're fearing, so like these fears that are kind of in your kind of head are basically saying here it's not going to happen, because this actually shows that the time has come to show your courage, and be ready to take a risk. But do not please intimidate and bully others at the same time. And this can actually also sometimes represent a person, and we might be seeing this earth kitten, as actually a person who is a really strong-willed, decisive, man or woman, mostly woman, and like Aries, that's usually you, strong-willed and decisive woman. So it could be representing really yourself, and that means you're going to be blessed with health and athleticism. And even though, I don't know where you live, it's really cold where I live, but you might be doing some outdoor activities as a result of it this week. And this also, even though the circumstances you want and they'll go a little bit slower, that's going to show ability to kind of adapt to it and to kind of get the new opportunities. Well, when we move further down here, we have the rune of Issa. And Issa was in a 7, which kind of denotes instability, and the rune of danger, which kind of we have seen here. So this rune is again confirming this entire instability over here. So let me put it together. So as you see, the rune doesn't have negative because it goes both up and down. So it's not a really biggie, but it can indicate, and this falls into your feeling section. So if you start feeling chilliness or fear over anything, let's say you have anxiety attack, or your optimism just cools off for some reason, or social and business relationships temporarily go through an icy phase, or your high expectations all of a sudden just implode, your patience would wear thin. So this is basically saying that it's really, really important to be patient, and not to have thin skin, and this is going to help you. So this is saying just stay here a little bit longer in front of this hole, just stay longer, and emotional turmoil which you had over here is going to finally stop. So the lesson of that rune is to tread carefully, and if you are hasty, it's going to just lead to more frustration, because if this kitty is hasty over here, he would drop into these branches, get all tangled up, get scared, and who knows, maybe even injured. So stay away from haste, because it's unstable. Just be very, very careful about what you are doing. And then let's see, what is this Ace of Sea saying? This would be Ingu's rune. And again, one more time, it is just amazing when runes kind of tell a story, and when they kind of confirm already the card it is on. And this basically is very encouraging, because not only it's emotional, as we said, but this rune says, you know what, this is the time to begin something and begin it, and do not look back. And this is like so much fitting your character, Aries. You know, this is a rune of no regrets. But I please urge you to have regrets, for at least small ones, for the people that you maybe, you know, stepped on and for some reason they didn't have your strength. So just keep it in mind that right now you are like on the top of the world, and that you do have ability and even willingness to actually be a little bit more intuitive and just recognize who are the people who cannot take the power on your level and maybe approach them gently. So this is also problem solving, and you know, you just put your best efforts, you know, and also can mean vacation. And as something as simple as that you see kind of like water and the steps in the sand and something emotional happening. So altogether really nice. So what you need to overcome is basically overcome ability to allow yourself to rest. So this would be, I think, pretty much a good clarification of everything. I don't know if we want to clarify anything else. Well, do you want to clarify Seven of Sky or Nine of Sky? Let's clarify Nine of Sky. I want to know, what are those fears? What are those fears based on? And what is the nightmarish for you? Let's see that. Ooh. Interesting. Okay. So, clarification cards. What you don't like is falseness. You don't like if things just die on you, and this is not necessarily the real death. And there are some fears about money. This can be literally fear of that. It could be that somebody is like ill, and I really hope, you know, this is not the case. If it is, you know, it's obviously something that is really pressing, and it's really important and emotional kind of situation that will go back to your family. But like, I mean, what is currently pressing is like, you don't really, sometimes you cannot, but not to see that some people are just like fake, and you cannot stand it. You literally, even though I really don't like that they put such a pretty kitty for falseness, but you know how kitties are. They come to the person who, you know, don't like them and pretend they like them, and pretend they like them a lot, but then they go and they puke in his shoe. So, you know, this is something that you cannot take this to face. So again, this is not necessarily the same thing, but it's like something that occupies your mind. Also, the worries about something ceasing to exist, and this could be a relationship, this could be a job or anything, or it could be most likely something about money. It could be that inheritance, it could be simply, you know, like, I mean, raise at work or bonus at work, and there are some kind of like issues about that. Then another thing, I actually want to confirm this Two of Pentacles, the juggling, because it kind of can be connected to it. So the ultimate. Hey Safi. Hey, hello. Can you say hi to Aries? Do you like Aries people? Huh? No, I want to hear louder. Yes? We just saw the kitty here. Are kitties bad? Okay, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. Okay, so now you have to get off the table, please. Please. I'll take you off the table. Sorry, Aries. We have a helper over here. Here. And we don't have a helper anymore. So let's see if I can finish this in peace. I was working on Two of Hearts, but this brings luck, and not that you really need it. Two on Earth. Please clarify it for me. What do I have here? Okay, pretty much the same thing. We have thought, frivolity, and gift. So, of course, you know, juggling is like gifts, juggling good things, but this is also indecisiveness. Like you're sitting and thinking, and you know, like sometimes overthinking, and wondering like what is a good choice, what is a not good choice, should you splurge, should you not splurge. Frankly, nothing out of ordinary that most humans do, so nothing to worry about it, and the rest really flows. And emotionally, let's just do it here. Let's confirm these two sevens together, because sevens are instabilities, and this one had a little bit kind of like danger attached to it. So let's see what happens here. These two jumped out. Let's do one more. Okay. So we have waiting, conversation, and Lord. So since this is falling into your emotional thing, this could mean that you're actually waiting on somebody in order to move into your next cycle with this, Ace of C. And waiting is also jealousy. Maybe you're looking in somebody else's life and you're feeling a little bit, why is this not happening to me? However, being Aries and being very assertive, you are going to address this, and you're going to have a communication about that and clarify it. So I guess just a warning, be danger, like against this danger now with no really clear message to it. If you get any chillness or coldness in that conversation, that's okay, because you're going to move into this kind of like a good space. It's just like sometimes people, don't react right away, or they are not in the same kind of vibes as we are. So just like again, please be wise, please be cautious, because I have more good news for you. You are basically the winners of this week, so this good news are rolling. I have already pulled the cards for you, and there are top 3 cards that are your love cards. I'm not crazy about these cards, I have to tell you. That's why I don't use them in the reading. The reason why I'm not crazy about them is they are really sweet, and sometimes they can give false hope. Sometimes false hope is good because it makes us feel good, but it doesn't let you take action. But I actually picked them up just to see if they would resonate with your reading. And actually they do, and this is why I decided to feature them. So you have reconciliation, which kind of can relate to this over here, that you need to have this chat. Maybe you were patient with someone and jealous, maybe somebody else was happening in your life or in his life, and you just wanted to clear it, and it's like, it's going to happen this way, dude, or what, there are other guys around it. So no, please don't do it that way. Just go, sweetie, you might want to be aware that, there are 2 other guys who ask me out, and I really care for you, but at the same time, so just give those hints, you know what I mean. And this is basically it. You deserve love. And you'll have either with this guy or somebody else chemistry, or somebody new that you meet, there definitely will be chemistry. And lastly, if you're still with me, I actually did pull up one more card, and this is now a special, ultra special treat. And this is now Chalice. This is a special guidance card that basically, if you can see, it says spiritual element guidance. And look at that. All the cards are starting to overlap. This is now, we are talking about that. And here you're getting a gift, the wholeness. The spiritual element guidance to speak your truth. And did I not say here, speak your truth? And you will be able to do it. You just be very careful how you do it. And I'm just going to read you quickly from the book. And there is incantation that comes with this. And I will put it down in your description. And this is what it says to repeat to energize this particular invocation. I trust that the chalice within my heart contains all that I need in order for me to follow the path of truth. My truth is the key to my wholeness. So what is this basically saying? It's saying that it's time to look into your heart to hear what is really saying to you. It is situation around you that is clouded and unclear, which looks like you're going to have the conversation about, or perhaps you maybe don't wish to hear the real truth about relationship for fear of losing what you have, which we explored over here. maybe you're like fearing that relationship will be lost, and maybe that relationship is connected to money. So no matter what the circumstance is in your case, the only way forward is to open your heart to that inner wisdom and love and nourishment. And interestingly enough, that's what it says in this book, but this was basically 2 major arcana that you got, and which basically crowns your reading. So, because once when you acknowledge the truth, you can take a step forward into wholeness. And basically every relationship we encounter would be next step in that direction. And your whole entire reading was saying you are going to this next step. So actually this doesn't necessarily mean just, the person that might be in your life or somebody from the past, because in the past you were indecisive, and maybe this could have been him because you're still indecisive, as in the end, just on a different level. Here was like passionate being indecisive, and here is like sort of like, how do I go daily, like step by step, and how do I basically organize my life. And the cards came, you deserve love, and there is a possibility of reconciliation, but it's going to have to be on a different level with speaking the truth, because whatever relationship we have is going to actually mirror us inside, and just like be, we want to have good hair, we want to have nice clothes. So just, when the person in the mirror looks back at us, we want this person to be nice. So the same thing is a relationship. Just make sure, that our thoughts are nice, and that we are choosing the partner that deserves us. So I really hope that, you like your reward. If you do, please leave a comment, and please leave, your thumb up. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and the contest keeps on going for the next week. And so I really, really hope that you're going to win one more time. If nothing, that you're going to support me. And again, thank you very, very much for being such a big supporters, and for subscribing, sharing, and liking. And hopefully you will continue to do that. And I'm looking forward to many more readings for you. So, peace.